So what is an FSA ID? FSA ID is the username and password needed to access the FAFSA form. It is literally your key to the lock. You don't have one of these, you cannot apply for FAFSA. Now that you know what the FSA ID is and why you need to create one, I want to show you studentaid.gov, right? And so this is the website we use for all things FAFSA. You can learn about the different grants, loans, you can repay anything that you owe. Everything happens on this one website, right? So for the purpose of this video, we are going to create an account. And then after we hit create account, we are going to hit get started. So when you get to this page, you're going to see 7 things that you're going to need to do to create your account, right? First is giving them your personal information. Then you're going to create your account with the account information step. You're going to then put in your contact information, right? Phone number and all that stuff. Then you're going to tell them how you want your information communicated. You're going to create challenge questions in case you get locked out. You're going to confirm and verify your identity. And then you are going to enable 2-step verification to keep your account safe. Okay. If you notice below, right, there is 2 paragraphs here that I'd like you to pause to read, right? Because it's pretty much telling you that they want to make sure that you are who you claim to be, right? That you are not knowingly putting false or misleading information on this part of the application. Okay, so if you don't put in the right information and you are knowingly not putting the right information, right, you can be subject to a fine, prison time, or both, just so you know. Okay. Personal information they are looking for in this particular section is your first name, middle initial if you have one, your last name, date of birth, and social security number. You want everything to be aligned to what is on your social, okay? So make sure you put in your data good, and make sure you pay attention to your social security number, specifically because I know a lot of times we don't have that number committed to memory, so we want to really pay attention to the numbers that we are putting in for our social. If one number is off, that can be a whole different human, so we want to make sure that we're paying attention to how we are putting in our social security number. So for the purpose of this, that's all I can do, because if I don't put any of my personal details in here, and if I put my personal details in here, it'll show I already have an account, so I'm not going to be able to move forward. But don't worry, we're going to go back into the slide deck so that you can get more information about what the other slides look like. So the next step of getting your FSA ID is creating your username and password. Remember, the key to the lock, this is where we are, right? So for this section, you're going to need to create a username. You're going to have an email address, not your school email address, because when you leave school, you'll no longer have access, which means you won't be able to get into your FAFSA, okay? The other thing that you're going to need is a password. Follow the instructions on the screen. It says uppercase, lowercase, number, 8+ characters, okay? So you're going to follow that formula to make your password. The next thing you're going to do is to put your address and telephone number in, right? So you're going to put your address, city, state, and zip code. And then if you would like to give them a phone number, which is encouraged, right? Because the phone number can help you if you get locked out of your account, right? So if anything changes with your mobile number, you just have to make sure you update your details. But for now, you use the phone number that you have, that you use, right? So that they can send you a code to recover your account if you get locked out. The next thing that you're going to do is to choose your preferred method of communication, right? You can use this solely by email, right? If your phone number is not going to be on soon, or you're having some issues with your phone number and things of that nature, or you can't really get into things, you can use solely your email, right? Here they're asking email, postal mail. Do not pick the postal mail unless you want to wait 55 years to get information from them. Do the email that is recommended. That way they can get directly to you, right? Optional, right, is going to be by email, text message, and you can put your language preference in there as well. Next thing that you're going to have to do is create challenge questions. Now, there are 5, okay? There's some applications that only need like 1 or 2. This one has 5, and you must remember them, because if you get locked out and you choose this option, they're going to hold you to all the questions and answers that you picked, okay? So you're going to choose 5. You're going to write them down, and you're going to take a screenshot of it, okay? If you get locked out of your account, they're going to randomize these questions so that they can make sure that you are the person who is actually trying to get access to the actual application. Next, you're going to review everything, right? Make sure all of your details are correct before you move on, because this can stop you in your tracks, okay? If you need to fix any mistakes, this is the time to go back previous until you can fix everything so that you can move forward without being flagged. And the last piece of the puzzle is to verify your account, okay? FAFSA is going to send you a code to verify your email address. If you put your telephone number as well, then they're going to send you a text message as well. Each time that you go into the FAFSA application, they will be using this verification process to make sure that it is you who is trying to access the application. So what happens next? Well, once your account is verified, you're going to be all set to start your FAFSA application. So here are some best practices to observe as you get your FSA ID and apply for FAFSA for the first time. So get your FSA ID before you are ready to apply for the FAFSA. Before you touch the form, make sure you get your FSA ID. You get your FSA ID, your parents get the FSA ID, right? Do that first. The other thing you want to do is to write down your FSA ID, right? Commit it to memory, screenshot it, keep it somewhere safe, because you're going to need it every single year you're in school. The longer it takes you to figure out what these things are, the longer it's going to take you to complete the application. So make sure you have all this somewhere safe. The other thing is to write down and screenshot answers to your challenge questions and your backup code. In case you get locked out of your account, you have another way to get in. So make sure you have these also screenshotted, written down, and somewhere safe. And the last thing is to make sure you have all this on you when you're applying for FAFSA, right? When you sit down to complete the actual application, you need to have what you need. You need to be prepared, right? Especially if somebody's going to help you. Because if somebody's going to help you, they don't want to sit there and watch you waste time trying to figure out what your username and password is. You should have this information on you and ready to go. So that is it. That is all. That is how you get your FSA ID. Make sure you get it before you touch the actual FAFSA form. Have a good one. Till next time.